news tonight, Senate President opens new roads, unlocking better access in Karsana. And cleric urges Muslims to embrace the power of glorifying Allah. Hello and good evening. Welcome to NTA Channel 5 Abuja. I am Patricia Asamiluba. The renewed Hope estate in Karsana district in the nation's capital had hitherto faced a critical barrier to functionality. This is as a result of the lack of paved, reliable road network to connect its housing units to the city center. But this development has changed for the better with the inauguration of the completed project. Onoze Yakubu tells us more.
The deplorable state of the road in the past limited access to the residents and deterred potential property investors.
Atira N11 is part of the phase 4 section of the Amado Bello Way, which we have in phase 1 and 2, and the Atira N16 is part of the Yomi Osebanjo Way, which we have in phase 2.
FCT Minister Yesen Wiki emphasizes that provision of this access road is a non-negotiable prerequisite to unlock all other infrastructure in the district.
Portal means there's road, but bad road. This one, there was no road. It was terrible. And then I remember one of the developers now cornered me and said, please, all our investment will be in vain if there's no road constructed here. I said, well, the mere fact it is renewed hope. Go home and sleep. We must have to construct the road in this Karsana district.
Representative of the President and Senate President Godswill Akpabio says the 10.5 kilometer stretch road is expected to impact positively on the resident and estate, which has numerous housing units, and ensure connectivity to the city center.
Open Karsana and open it now. He took that brief, set the pace, and today you can see he has delivered. When urgency meets quality, results follow. That is what you are standing on today. Honorable Minister Jason Wike, the difference in the FCT of your time is visible.
The contracting firm revealed that the project was delivered on record time and in line with the contractual agreement. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Now, the glorification of Allah uses the testimony of faith is a religious obligation that Islam places premium on for Muslims to always indulge in for Allah's benevolent mercy and total guidance. Deputy Chief Imam of the Sanusi and Tata Memorial Mosque, Abuja, Ustaz Khalifa Ibrahim reminds worshippers of this act of worship in his Jumat sermon. Abdullah Ajia has more on this.
Today's Jumat moral lessons from the Imam, Ustaz Ibrahim Khalifa, was centered on the power of Kalimatul Shahad, which is the testimony of faith that introduces anyone into Islam. The cleric says Muslims must uphold this glorification of Allah in their everyday life, as it has the power of transforming their lives in this life and in the hereafter.
Anybody who says La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, he is a Muslim. And then we pray for our country. We must pray for our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We must pray for the vice president and all the security, all them. We pray for them, for Allah, help them.
Worthy of pleasing Allah. Ustaz Khalifa, in his admonition, discourages discrimination among citizens, as he urges the congregation to always look up to Allah, especially in matters of security, leadership, and socio-economic prosperity of the country. The religious leader also encourages the congregation to always pray for their leaders to succeed in the provision of good governance. In Abuja, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
Socio-political thinkers often argue that when a society seeks to evolve into its place of pride, build on leadership models to secure the future, its productive assets must be involved in driving inclusion. To this end, the Independent Nigeria Campaign project of the African Youth Growth Foundation is owning this role, driving the charge amongst Nigerian youth-based and entire voting population to get actively involved in the nation's future, starting with the ongoing continuous voters registration process as build up to the 2027 general elections. Onoto Yakubu brings us inside of this.
Nigeria, a nation pregnant with certainty. As the 2027 general election cycle beckons, a compelling question begs for answer, and it is one which political observers regard as key to getting it right. Voter apathy and lack of active participation of the youth population in civic duties to add value to the process, analysts say, is dealing detrimental blow and gives cause for worry. Presently, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has extended the ongoing continuous voter registration and collection of permanent voter cards exercise, but with less than 10 days to close. So, how involved are the people?
I would just like to encourage every eligible voter to apply for their PVCs. If you haven't gotten your PVC, it's quite seamless. The process is seamless. So please apply for your PVC and get it.
They are doing well. Those ones, they are all lost. Then lose.
The Independent Nigeria Campaign project of the African Youth Growth Foundation is driving a holistic voter sensitization to influence and shape leadership role perspectives of the youth to power public policy drive towards national process rebate.
You cannot have any successful campaign of this magnitude without having the young people in the central, processing, of the organizing, planning, coordination, and deployment. The young people are tired, but want to give them hope. Want to tell them they should not be tired, they should not give up. This is their country.
Dr. Arome Salifu's INP beckons on key institutions such as violence, vote buying, and uphold compact service pledges to enhance standards. These indicators the project opine strengthens equitable and compelling democratic interests, enhancing participation process to institutionalize social and democratic gains.
Nigeria is a country of well over 200 million people, and you have a president, or you have president elected with less than perhaps even 10% of that population, because that number is not yet even the INEC voter registered number. So if you distilled that over 200 million population, and then you go further to the number of voters who come out to vote to elect their president, then the last election, for instance, we have just less than 27%. Now, 27% of the registered voter determining, who becomes president. They are not the one who determine yet. They are the actual number who voted, because they voted for different candidates. You understand? That less than 27% voted for different candidates. So when you further reduce that to those who voted for the president, you know fully that the level of apathy.
For now, INP's vision prioritizes transparency to build equitable engagement with stakeholders to amplify youth involvement in democratic processes.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, FCT, is stepping up efforts to ensure no eligible voter is left behind. In the Federal Capital Territory, the Commission has taken its sensitization campaign to markets and other public places while introducing a mega registration center to ease congestion and encourage greater participation. Rabiat Shaib tells us more.
With the July 10 deadline for the continuous voter registration exercise fast approaching, the Independent National Electoral Commission has intensified public awareness across the Federal Capital Territory. The sensitization roadshow took INEC FCT officials to busy locations including Area 1, Utako Market, and Wuse Market, where traders, commuters and other residents were encouraged to register, transfer their voting locations, update their records, replace lost or damaged permanent voter cards, and collect unclaimed PVCs.
Election is coming. Don't stay back and complain. It's your right to register and to vote.
Assessing the exercise so far, the Administrative Secretary, INEC FCT, Bimbo Oladunjoye, says the Commission has recorded encouraging public response to the continuous voter registration exercise.
I want to just encourage FCT residents to know that they can do a lot of things online on the CVR portal, which is cvr.inecnigeria.org. And in terms of accessibility, I know we have very few centers in the FCT, but for this last week of the CVR exercise, which is from this coming Monday, on the 6th to 10th of July, we're actually going to have more centers in the FCT, and then we are going to move our FCT center, which is in our office in Area 10, we're going to move it to the old parade ground so that we can have enough space, and we're going to have more machines there.
Well, we have to let Nigerians know the importance of the PVC, importance of their participation in the process. It's a process that has to do with their well-being and the well-being of the society. That's choosing people that will represent them at various levels in government.
Some eligible voters who completed their registration described the process as smooth and commend the Commission for taking the exercise closer to the people.
I would just like to encourage every eligible voter to apply for their PVCs. If you haven't gotten your PVC, it's quite seamless. The process is seamless.
With the final phase of the registration exercise underway, the Commission believes improved access, sustained sensitization and public participation will ensure that no eligible voter is left behind ahead of future elections. In Abuja, Rabiat Shaib, NTA News.
The National Association of Nigerian Traders, NANS, FCT chapter has expressed concern over the rise in cases of indiscriminate hawking, roadside trading and commercial activities on pedestrian bridges and other unauthorized locations across the Federal Capital Territory. The association made its position known at the 9th Traders Summit held in Abuja. Mariam George Jitubo tells us more.
Trade remains a major drive of economic growth, serving as critical links in the supply chain by ensuring the availability of goods and services, creating employment opportunities, supporting livelihoods, and contributing significantly to national development. Against this backdrop, traders, policymakers, and other key stakeholders converge on Abuja for the 9th National Association of Nigerian Traders, FCT Chapter Traders Summit, to examine strategies for strengthening the sector and enhancing its contribution to the economy. President Ken Ukaoha called on relevant authorities to tackle the growing trend and illegal trading activities, urging government agencies to improve market infrastructure through provision of essential social amenities and strengthen security within markets and major commercial corridors.
Our objective is not to punish traders, but to promote orderliness, to promote safety, sustainable commercial activities where both buyers and sellers are accorded their due respect. Furthermore, we call on the federal government and the FCT administration to prioritize the provision of basic social amenities in markets across the FCT and Nigeria as a whole.
Participants expressed optimism that the engagements would equip traders with the skills and exposure needed.
The team is empowering the traders and local producers for global competitiveness, which means you can trade from wherever you are outside the world, buying or selling.
Traders add to the GDP of the country every day, and we need to be enlightened to know that we are more than what we believe we are.
A very impactful seminar to every traders. So I really appreciate God for those that are here today, because what we learn today will help us to know what to do to improve in our businesses and improve our economy.
This panel discussion herald deliberations by industry stakeholders and experts on empowering traders and local producers for global competitiveness. The association recognized exceptional personalities that have continued to make impact in the society. The summit, now in its 9th edition, reaffirmed NAN's commitment to promoting responsible trading practices and building a more competitive and globally connected trading community. Mariam George, Jitubo, NTA News.
As efforts to combat drug abuse continues to gain momentum, partnership between government agencies and community-based organizations are proven vital in promoting this venture. Sandra Akeme takes it from here.
Members of the association held interactive sessions with the inmates, offering parental advice, words of encouragement, and stressing the importance of making positive life choices after rehabilitation. The visit to the NDLA facility in Abuja was marked by the donation of relief items to the inmates undergoing rehabilitation, reflecting the association's commitment to supporting vulnerable members of society. The group says its intervention complements government's efforts by promoting community involvement in addressing the root causes of drug abuse and supporting the reintegration of recovering drug users into society.
The initiative is that we now look at it that government cannot do it alone. Most of this thing, the burden of government is too much. And then when you look at the drug abuse these days, the menace is getting too much. And then we now said, okay, as part of our own responsibility, we said, okay, we should now reach out to them because they cannot just do it alone. We just have to extend our hands of friendship and then bring our small widow's mite to them. We are looking forward maybe from these donor agencies, maybe we can reach out to them, but it's not helping also when we can do more than what we have done now.
The FCT commander of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Julius Z., commended the association for the thoughtful gesture, describing community participation as an essential pillar in the fight against substance abuse. He also spoke on the agency's ongoing efforts to curb drug trafficking, strengthen rehabilitation programs, and encourage public collaboration.
We have not been resting on our hours. We've always been out there trying to conduct surveillances, arrests. Not just that, we've been doing what we described before, war against discipline, where we reinvigorated ourselves again on the fight against drug abuse. So it's a continuous thing. The threats are there, the challenge is there, we are capable, we are struggling on, and we are pushing on. And I think we are succeeding.
Stakeholders believe that sustained collaboration between government institutions, civil society organizations, and communities will go a long way in reducing drug abuse, restoring lives, and creating a safer society for all. In Abuja, Sandra Akeme, NTA News.
Access to affordable land and home ownership remains a major challenge for many Nigerian workers. To ease this burden and strengthen staff welfare, the Radio, Television, Theatre and Arts Workers Union, RATAU, NGA chapter has commissioned its Phase 4 estate project comprising 210 plots, providing members with an opportunity to invest in property and secure their future. Rabiat Shaib was at the commissioning and now reports on this.
The commissioning of the Ratau National Gallery of Art Chapter Phase 4 Estate marks another milestone in the union's effort to strengthen staff welfare through sustainable initiatives. The project, situated at Tudunwada in Karo local government area of Nasarawa State, comprises of 210 plots designed to give members and staff an opportunity to invest in land ownership. Speaking at the event, Director General of the NGA, Bashir Ahmed, described staff welfare as essential to institutional growth, noting that initiatives that improve employees' well-being also strengthen commitment, productivity, and service delivery.
One of the expected impacts I vision it to have is to a moral booster, first and foremost, because this is an integral part of welfare, and welfare is something that this administration, particularly under the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, has emphasized, and we're only taking a leaf out of Mr. President's book.
According to the union executives, the initiative reflects the union's commitment to promoting the long-term welfare and economic security of its members.
When a staff retire from service, you hardly see staff having or boast of having a house of his or her own. So on my own and the ESCO, we thought of getting something like this, that at the end of the day, when a staff retire from service, can be bold to say, I have a land somewhere. To achieve this, I also want to appreciate the national president in the person of Comrade Prince Emeka Kalu, who has always been in support to us.
I speak to you today, a number of them have fully subscribed to this land. And this land, as I speak to you, is owned, is a property of the National Gallery of Art Ratsao, because it is registered with Nagis, it's approved by government.
Beneficiaries describe the initiative as timely, saying it offers members a realistic pathway towards owning property while strengthening their sense of belonging within the organization.
For me, this is a wonderful initiative on the part of Ratau, considering the welfare that they have been talking about, and for once, bringing this on board, for me, I think it's a commendable effort.
The project reflects a shared commitment by management and the union to initiatives that enhance staff welfare, with the expectation that more members will embrace the opportunity to secure land for future development. Rabia Shaib, NTA News.
And from Rabia's report, we head to Sarafina Okon on the business news. Over to you now, Sarafina.
Many thanks indeed. CBN reduces uncertainty in financial system as 46 microfinance banks loses licenses, and Development Bank of Nigeria announces a €200 million financial partnership with European Investment Bank. Many thanks for joining this segment of Business and Economy. I am Serafina Okon-Omekwe. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has cancelled the operating licenses of 46 microfinance banks for failing to satisfy regulatory conditions required for continued operations. In a statement issued recently, Hakama Sidi Ali, the Apex Bank's acting director of corporate communications, said the decision became effective from July 1st, 2026. According to the CBN, the action was taken in accordance with Sections 12 and 13 of the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020. The regulator said the affected institutions were unable to meet the standards and obligations necessary to retain their licenses, prompting the move as part of ongoing efforts to uphold stability and compliance within Nigeria's banking sector. The European Investment Bank's Group Development Arm, EIB Global, and the Development Bank of Nigeria have announced a €200 million financial partnership to support the development of small-scale investments of Nigeria enterprises contributing to Nigeria's green and digital economy. Mr. Ambrose Fayele, EIB Vice President, the investment program says to boost private sector development in Nigeria through small-scale investments of enterprises contributing to Nigeria's green and digital economy. In agriculture, it will help improve productivity, develop local supply chains, and strengthen food security for a country that holds the largest population. As part of federal government's borrowing plan for 2026 budget, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has issued Treasury bills, TBS, to raise 5.8 trillion in the third quarter of 2026, which represents a 241% year-on-year increase when compared to 1.7 trillion sold in the third quarter of 2025. CBN disclosed that the Treasury bills issued program for the third quarter of 2026 bills are short-term, less than 1 year debt. The TB issue program commences on 1st July and ends September 23, 2026. The settlement date begins on July 2nd and ends on September 24, 2026. During the period, the FX Bank will issue TBS worth 900 billion on a 91-day tenor, 900 billion on a 182 tenor, and 4 trillion on a 364-day tenor. That's the much we can take on business news. Just stay with the Unity station for the continuation of the news.
And let's now join the sports desk for Sports Brief.
The National Sports Commission has named shot put star Chukwuebuka Enekwechi as Team Nigeria's male captain for the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, co-leading alongside two-time Paralympic gold medalist Folashade Oluwafemilayo. The US-based Enekwechi is a 2018 Commonwealth silver medalist and reigning African champion. Team Nigeria departs for a 3-week training camp in Aberdeen ahead of the Games, which run July 23rd to August 2nd. Meanwhile, Samuel Chukwueze has rejected a reported 15 million euros offer from Turkish side Trabzonspor, choosing instead to fight for his place at AC Milan under new head coach Ruben Amorim. The Super Eagles winger returns to Milan after a loan spell at Fulham, where he posted 3 goals and 4 assists in 25 appearances, enough to catch Trabzonspor's eye, but not enough to convince Fulham to make the move permanent. Lastly, Portugal survived the dramatic late scare to beat Croatia 2-1 and reach the World Cup last 16. Cristiano Ronaldo converted a 68-minute penalty before Goncalo Ramos struck a stoppage time header to steal it, as Ronaldo's quest for his elusive first World Cup title continues. Portugal now face Spain in round of 16. With Sports Brief, Wayne Dugu, NTA News.
And that's about it on the news at 7 on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. Hope you have a good evening.
Has the game lost its color? We're here to bring it back.